Okay, great. So this meeting is being recorded, just so you know, and the link for this will be posted up tomorrow. So that way you'll be able to refer back to this meeting at any time. So first of all, to everyone who's come today, hello. For those of you who have not spoken to me yet, my name is Caroline Bowman, and I am your award leader for the Duke of Edinburgh's award. We've got people doing the award through Outward Bound in an open capacity in New South Wales, ACT and Victoria. And very soon we'll have people joining us from WA and Queensland as well. We're really excited as an organisation to be able to offer the Duke of Ed Award to people like yourselves who may not have had the opportunity to do the award, for example, through your own school, if your school's not offering it, which is the main way that people would traditionally get involved. Duke of Ed is something that's really close to my heart personally. I did my Bronze Award and my Gold Award, and I guess you could say I'm one of those converts. I did the Adventurous journey at the bronze level, and it was something that was very different to anything else I'd ever done previously, and it really sparked a sense of adventure that I never had. So being able to offer the award to other people is definitely something that I'm really personally passionate about. So I always get very excited when I can talk about the award. The purpose of this particular meeting is really just, as I said in the title, it's a general catch-up. It's an opportunity to, one, say hello, two, if you've got any questions that you just want to get clarified, you're not too sure about, this is a good way of asking, and potentially your question is asked by other people as well. I'm going to deliberately start with two questions that were asked in an email prior to this meeting. And the first one is relating to the end age. So it's important to know that Duke of Ed is available to anybody who is age 14 to 24 inclusive. And you do need to have all of your online record book completed by the day before your 25th birthday. So basically what that means is that the day before you turn 25 is the final day that I have to send your online record book for final approval from the state office, no matter what level you're doing. So you just something to bear in mind if you're one of our adult participants, or if you're someone who is taking a bit more time to do the award, that which is, yeah, absolutely why there's such a good amount of time to do the award, that you want to make sure you're arranging your activities so that you are done and dusted before your 25th birthday, because I have to send your award as a final date on the day before your 25th birthday. So that was deliberately in relation to a question about what is that 25 age cutoff. So yeah, day before you're 25, everything needs to be done. The next question that I had was a question around the process of getting your activities approved. Now, this particular question was in regards specifically to Adventurous Journeys and Gold residential projects. But the reality is that the approval process for all of your award activities is exactly the same. The first thing you have to do is decide on the activity you're going to do. So whether that's what physical recreation, what skill, what adventurous journey, what gold residential project, decide on what you're going to do. The next thing you need to work out is who your assessor is going to be. So what are you going to do? Who is going to be your assessor? Now, in the case of something like a skill, this is more likely to be your tutor or coach. When you look at things like the Adventurous Journey, if you're doing an Adventurous Journey with Outward Bound, outward bound is your assessor. If you're going with another organisation, there will be a person in that organisation who is going to be the assessor, and they usually have someone already signed up for that. And if you're doing it through another group, if you're going on a relevant school camp or an activity with guides, or scouts, cadets, then you're looking at usually a journey leader. So you need to find an assessor. That assessor needs to be given, if you're in New South Wales, the Assessor Commencement Guide. If you're anywhere else, the Code of Conduct, and that needs to be signed. And if you are 17 years or younger, your assessor must include a Working with Children check or equivalent. So that if you're in ACT, it might be a Working with Vulnerable People. If you are in Victoria, it might be a Victorian Institute of Teachers number, but there needs to be some form of Working with Children check provided. You then go into your online record book, write up in the little box that pops up what your activity is, what dates, the contact details for your assessor. You submit that in the online record book for approval, and then you email to me the completed Code of Conduct or Assessor Commencement Guide. And that's the approval process. If you've got any questions, if you're like, oh, I want to do this activity, I'm not too sure if it is an AJ or if it is the Gold Residential, then absolutely get in contact with me first so we can double check. It's really good if you have a web link so I can have a look, or a pamphlet, something I can actually refer to understand what you want to do. Overall, looking at Gold Residential projects, it's really broad. So you're looking for any activity that is 5 days, 4 nights away from home, not with lots of your friends or family, and you are doing an activity of interest. That's really as broad as it gets. For Adventurous Journeys, I do need to look at any of your past Adventurous Journeys to see if there's any correlation between what you're doing. And I also need to double check times and distances that you're traveling, and the actual role that you have, and how many people are on that journey. So that's something that the Adventurous Journey takes a little bit more time, especially if you're doing self-organized ones, which is not a problem. It's just something to be mindful of. The more time you can give me to have a look at the AJs, the better, because that's the most complex one of all of them to double check. And that's really it. That's the general approval process. So they were the 2 questions that I got asked beforehand. Really, the rest of this time now is open for you to ask your questions. There's 2 ways you can do this. You can either click on the chat function in the top menu and type your question, or you can click on the raise hand button so I can see your hand raise, and then we can open up to you. Floor is yours. Who's willing to go first? Yes, Josh, go ahead.
It's Josh, Mum, but that's okay. I was just going to ask you, with the Adventurous Journey for the Silver Award, that's going to have to happen through you guys. Will you be doing one in ACT at that point next year? And the second question is, once you finish the Bronze Award and you decide to do the Silver Award, when it comes to the skill and the physical recreation, can you still choose the same skill and physical thing, but it's just slightly different because you're going up a grade or something like that? Thank you.
Yeah, good questions. I'll start with the second question. when you go from any level upwards, you can continue the same activities that you already did. You just change your goal. So absolutely fine to go, for example, playing hockey for physical recreation at bronze, silver, and gold. The thing that they'll be looking for, and we will be looking for when you write up each of the goals, is that there is evidence of progress over time. So you can choose something completely new. You can continue with something you've already done. And even at your very first level, whatever that is, you can go with an activity that you have been doing for months or years previously, or you can start something entirely new. It's very much self-tailored. When it comes to adventurous journeys, yes, there will be more journeys at the public level being opened up in both ACT and Victoria. I'm expecting to see dates become available for September school holidays and then the April school holidays. So that's just something that our planning team are currently working on with staffing and routes, but that's very much high priority to be released.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Okay, what opportunities will we get from Duke of Ed for the expedition section? All right, so adventurous journeys. Overall, when you're looking for adventurous journeys, whether they are with Outward Bound or with another company, there are, broadly speaking, two different styles of journeys. The most common one that everyone knows is the expedition, which is traveling from point A to point B with campsites or in between. Journeys with Outward Bound, for the most part, are hiking-based expeditions. You will see come up for in April next year a pack and paddle option in Victoria. So that's a different style where there's the other activity. There are other companies out there that do all paddling options. It's just something that we don't do a lot of. Most of what we do as an organisation is hiking based, but they're where we're able to get different activities in. We're certainly looking to open that up because it makes it more exciting. There is another style of expedition available, which they are called explorations. And the idea of an exploration is that you do less travel time and more targeted observation. So these are types of adventurous journeys that Outward Bound Australia does not directly offer. However, we do have some really good connections. At this stage, they are mostly Queensland and New South Wales based. There is a connection we're trying to make in Victoria that do these targeted studies. So that targeted studies for them, it's kind of the most common example is doing a observation to write up a mini research report on an environmental issue. That's the most common one, whether it might be looking at estuaries along Narrabeen lakes, or it could be taking readings from a bit of like a transect in different areas each day to look for scat for feral animals or weeds. So that's the sort of thing that you can do. So if that's something that you're interested in other than the journeying aspect, then absolutely please do get in contact with me. Some of the journeys that are exploration, we can just directly link you with an organisation and you can work out some dates. And then for other styles, we actually need to create a group and then go to the provider and say, hey, we've got a group. What dates have you got available so we can coordinate and create a contract with them. All right, how do you begin logging hours? And what is the process to get started with that? All right, so first of all, you need to set up your online record book. So the first thing that you do is you click on your section, for example, skill, and you get that approved, which is what I talked about at the very start of this video. Once that has been approved, your online record book will open up and you will get an option to click on a log entry. You put in the date that you did your activity. You put in the duration, so whether that was 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, and then you write a little blurb about what you did. If you've got any photos or videos, you can upload those as evidence. You put that log in, you just submit it, it collects inside the online record book, and the online record book will then do a tally. It will continue to tally until you have reached your minimum required time. And when that happens, you'll then be prompted to submit your section to your assessor for their assessment. Now, some things around logging your time. The online record book has some coding that we cannot change. So you need to work within the rules of the online record book. You can record a maximum of 1 hour every 7 days or 2 hours every 14 days or 4 hours every calendar month, as long as you are recording at the same time each month, such as, for example, the 12th day of every single month, or maybe the 3rd Friday of every month. But it has to be that same configuration. If you do more hours, let's say, for example, you do 2 hours every week, there's nothing wrong with putting that into the online record book, but it won't tally over. When you're looking at your hours in the online record book, it'll give you a H hour, which like a H value, I should say, which is basically hours. But the online record book is really measuring your commitment to your activity in both time, which is hours, and duration, which is met in weeks. So all of your activities fall into a time and duration minimum requirement. At the bronze level, for example, where your minimum requirement is 13 hours, it's done on the assumption of 1 hour per week for 13 weeks. So not only do you need to achieve 13 hours as a minimum time, you also need to show commitment for 13 weeks. So if you do put in 2 hours in any one time, it'll only show up as 1 hour. So if you do 2 hours every single week, you'll only show up 1 hour in your H value. So it's not possible to fast track the award in that way. So it's important to know that. Definitely good to put in the hours because it shows your overall commitment, but it won't calculate any faster. All right, next question is, for the Adventurous journey, if we did it with school as a camp, how would we get our preparation and training and our practice journey marked? This really depends on what you did. Not every single school camp is an adventurous journey for the purposes of the Duke of Edinburgh's award. If you want to use a school camp for your Duke of Ed award, please do contact me with lots of details, dates, what you know about the program. Ideally, if you can get me a contact for the coordinating teacher at school as well, so that I can reach out to them, explain that you're doing the Duke of Edinburgh's award and find out what you're doing. Broadly speaking, if you're going on a school camp that is cabin-based, I won't be able to approve that. If you are going on a school camp where you do not prepare any meals, so everything is done through a dining hall, I most likely won't be able to approve it. If you're doing a school camp that is multi-activity. So every single day you're doing 2 or 3 or 4 different activities, a little bit of hiking, a little bit of abseiling, a bit of high ropes, a little bit of canoeing or surfing. This does not fulfill the need of an adventurous journey from an awards perspective. So there are some circumstances that may be personal to you where a school camp like that can be used, but it is with regard to your effectively your inability to do what's called a regular adventurous journey. And it needs to meet minimum timing requirements. It's very hard to say very generically what type of a school camp does count. Very, very broadly, if you're going on a school camp where you are hiking every single day, for the majority of the day, you are camping out every night, preferably in a different campsite, and you are preparing all of your own meals. This is a type of camp that most likely can be counted for an adventurous journey. So if you're doing any other school camp that doesn't meet that very, very tight requirement, please do reach out. As an absolute minimum, we typically can use this towards preparation and training. Yeah, it's not a very clear answer, unfortunately. It gets a little bit complicated with school camps. So best thing I can say is please contact me directly.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Sorry, I sent the message before. So my camp was, it was 5 days and it was hiking and we did make all our meals. But like, how would it be marked based? Because we went to the camp straight away. Like we had like a gear check and then we went straight to the camp.
Okay.
So how would our preparation and training be marked on that?
How long was the camp for?
5 days, 4 nights.
5 days, 4
And
nights.
it was
Okay. At what level?
tenting. What do you
Bronze,
mean?
silver, or gold? Are you in bronze, silver, or gold?
Bronze.
Okay.
I'm in bronze.
So for bronze, wow. Very, very okay. So if all you did was effectively hiking and camping, and it's a 5-day program, how we can delineate that is day 1 can be preparation and training from an online record book perspective. Day 2 and 3 become your practice adventurous journey, and day 4 and 5 become your qualifying adventurous journey. So we have to line up the dates exactly inside the online record book. But going back to one of the very, very first things I was talking about at the start of this, you do need to arrange for one of the school staff who are with you for the full duration of that program to be willing to act as an assessor. So you need to have that assessor role completed as well.
Also, sorry, for my school, they don't like the Duke of Edinburgh isn't really like they don't really do it. So I had a teacher. We had a teacher in our group that was with us for the whole camp. And how would I approach him to tell him about it? Like how would I tell him?
You just go to their staff room, knock on the door, or if you need to arrange a meeting, however it is that you get in contact with teachers at your school, to speak with them, and you just go up and go, hi, I was in your group, hope you remember me, I'm cool, and I am outside of school doing the Duke of Edinburgh's award. I would like to count the school camp for this section called Adventurous Journey, and I need someone to verify my attendance and commitment to that camp. And because you were my school teacher with me, I'm hoping you'll be okay to do that. What they will need to be able to do is fill in the code of conduct form if you're in Victoria or ACT, or the assessor commencement guide if you are in New South Wales, which includes them providing their working with children check or equivalent, and be willing to write a couple of sentences about your commitment to the program. That is the extent of the commitment that they need to provide, but they need to be happy to do so.
Okay, so wait, what's the code of conduct? Where would I get that?
So code of conduct or assessor commencement guide, depending on where you are, is all in the welcome email. So when you first signed up and created your online record book, you would have been sent an email, welcome to your Duke of Ed Award, it's time to start. It is a couple of sentences in there about we're really happy to have you, and please open up this attachment, read page 2. Page 2 of your welcome email has the link to your relevant document to get your assessors to sign that they're happy to be involved.
Okay, yep, I've got
And if you don't have that email, get in contact with me so I can directly resend it to you.
Yeah, I think I have it. Is the like the code of conduct attached to it, or is it?
It's a link within the attach. So the attachment is a letter, and within that letter, it's a PDF, and within that letter is a hyperlink to the live document.
Okay, I've got it. I've got it.
Great, excellent.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Right, next one. If I am wanting to use an online company as my volunteering, who would be my assessor? In Australia, if you are 17 years or younger, your assessor must be an adult who is a non-family member who has an Australian issued working with children check or equivalent. So if you are doing anything online, then you need to still have a supervisor, a supporter, someone who is telling you what to do, and that person must fulfill that criteria of adult, non-family member, has an Australian issued working with children check or equivalent. If you are 18 years or older, then the only thing that changes if you're using an online anything is you don't need the working with children check, but your assessor must still be an adult and must still be a non-family member. Nothing wrong with using online organisations. We've got a few people who are doing online volunteering, but they do still need to have a human connection somewhere in that process. All right, next one. How long before the Adventurous journey do we complete the preparation training, and how do we go about completing it? This really is one of those, and it's individual. Preparation and training is very individual because some people will come to the Duke of Ed with lots of prior experience, and other people come with much less, and that's the beauty of the award. It doesn't matter where you start, because you progress from wherever you are. Different companies will have different preparation and training provided. At Outward Bound Australia, we do most of our preparation and training just to get you to the start of the program through an online portal, and it's very much make a menu and know where you've got to be, print out your maps, and arrange all your equipment. And then when it comes down to things like learning how to navigate and work in a group, we will do that in the field. We find that from our end, that delivering that in the very first day of your adventurous journey, whether that is an intensive on the first day of your practice or a refresher on the first day of your qualifier, for us that works better than trying to get you to learn through an online means. So that's a little bit different. Some other, if you're going with a different provider, some companies provide a separate preparation and training day. So you might find, for example, a bronze practice journey that is 3 days, 2 nights, 3 days, 2 nights, because day 1 and night 1 are officially preparation and training, and then they back directly into a practice journey in its own right. So different companies will do different things. And that's okay. Everyone's different. If you're really keen on any particular aspect of what you might need to do for the adventurous journey, say, for example, you are really, really wanting to have a very strong pre-learning for navigation, for example, then there are some really, really good geography teachers out there who have loads of knowledge about using topographic maps and planning out routes, and would love to teach you everything that they know about that sort of stuff. Same for environmental science teachers. There's a lot of enviroscience teachers that have those skills. So if you've got a teacher at your school that you like, who you feel confident asking those questions, that they'd be really keen to help you out. It's the same with food as well. If you're looking at hiking food and you're not quite sure, apart from, obviously going onto YouTube and other general websites where there's lots of really good advice these days. Again, if you've got a food nutrition teacher or similar, I'm going to show my age now and call them home economics teachers. Parents might know what I'm talking about there. Again, really, really good source of knowledge around expelling energy during a high impact activity or a long distance activity, and therefore what type of food that you can be consuming to increase your energy. So they're ways that you can definitely just sort of work out yourself if you want to do more. The one thing that is really worth noting for anybody doing any form of preparation and training is if you're going to be doing something like a hike, it's really important to make sure that most of your preparation is actually just getting used to walking in your footwear. It's actually really common for people to turn up to adventurous journeys with a brand new pair of shoes, and this spells disaster for most people because it's a really easy way, unfortunately, to get blisters. The best preparation and training that you can do for your very first adventurous journey, especially if you're doing a hiking-based journey, is to get the shoes that you're going to use relatively early and just wear them for an hour a day. Get them, really nice and well worn into your feet. Comfortable shoes is really good. It makes everything else a little bit easier. It's amazing how powerful our feet are. If I'm going to give anyone any advice for preparation and training, the main one actually is something like look out for your footwear first. Next one. What does it mean to have a major? Oh, good one. Okay. All right. Now, this applies to everybody. Everybody at some point in time in their award will do a major section. It applies to the very first level that you do, no matter what level you started at. So the very first level you start at will have a major section. And if you do the bronze level and skip silver to go straight into gold, you will have the major section come up again. Physical recreation, skill, and voluntary service, often referred to as your regular sections. These are the three things that you are doing regularly throughout the award. They all have a minimum time: 13 hours at the bronze level, 26 hours at the silver level, and 52 hours at the gold level. So you need to do all three of those sections for that minimum time based on what level of the award you are doing. The very first level of the award that you do, or if you are someone who did bronze, skipped silver, and went straight to gold, you have a major section requirement. What this means is that you choose one of the physical, recreation, skill, or voluntary service, your choice, and you need to do it for more time. Your bronze, you need to do it for an additional 13 hours. So 1 hour per week for 13 weeks. So effectively 26 hours. So bronze, your major section is 26 weeks. At silver, your major section is another 26 weeks. So you're going to do one of those sections for 52 weeks. And at the gold level, your major section is done for an additional 26 weeks again. So that would take your major section up to 78 weeks. And you only do it for one. You do it for the one that you want to do. It's valuable if you can choose a section that you'll be able to continue for that length of time, so an activity that's going to go on for that duration. But if you are doing seasonal things or activities that are bound by certain amounts of time, it is okay to swap at that halfway point. It's really common to see people, for example, who are really into their sports to choose physical recreation as their major section, but they'll need to do a summer sport and a winter sport, and they just break up with the two different seasons. But if you're in a position where you're learning something like a language or a musical instrument, coding, like something, an extensive skill, that's a very easy activity. That's a very easy activity to use as your major section because it's naturally going on for a longer period of time. Right. Should the adventurous journey have an adult supervisor to ensure safety? All right, so just like every other section, you do need to have an assessor who is an adult, non-family member. If you are 17 years or younger, they must have a working with children check. And yes, your adventurous journey must have an adult supervisor in attendance. That supervisor ideally has experience in what you're doing. If you're doing a hike, that supervisor should have experience in hiking and looking after a small group of people in that environment. They should know what to do if something goes wrong. That's why most people end up doing adventurous journeys through organizations, simply to make sure you've got that safety net. If you are an all-adult group, you do still need to have a supervisor in attendance on your practice journey. You do not have to have a supervisor in attendance on your qualifying journey. However, you must be able to make twice daily contact as a minimum with your external supervisor. So you need to be able to be on a journey where you're either texting or have a satellite phone or a tracking device where you can send messages, so you can have active contact with someone external. But that is only for an adult group doing their qualifying adventurous journey. If I did an adventurous journey camp that ticks all the requirements, but I did it before joining the Duke of Air, does it still count? Unfortunately not. We cannot count any activities that occurred before the date of your online record book registration. Is there an equipment list for the adventurous journey? All right, so there's not a generic list of equipment for adventurous journeys. These will always be a little bit tailored towards individual companies or other organizations that are running camps. But if you want to go and see a reasonably generic list, then simply come onto the Outward Bound Australia website and click on any of our adventurous journeys under the programs. And there's a packing list. Every single adventurous journey overall has the same packing list. So you just pull that one up and have a look. Things like hiking boots specifically, like they're not a requirement per se, but you do want to have really sturdy footwear that can handle undulating ground that can be uneven, could be grassy, could be gravelly, could be rocky, could be slippery, could be coarse. You want really good ankle support, and you don't want a shoe that's brand new on the first day that you turn up. It's completely normal for us to see people turn up in hiking shoes as opposed to hiking boots, especially since trail running shoes now have become really sophisticated. But a really old pair of sports shoes that don't have any grip left on the soles are not a good option. Next one is, how do you choose a major section? Overall, I'm hoping that got covered in the last one, but broadly, choose an activity that you like and choose an activity that you can do for the duration of your major requirement. And if we do more than 1 hour a week for our selected activity, do we still do it for the same number of weeks? Yes. A Duke of Edinburgh's award at any level is ultimately a declaration of your ability to set a goal and commit to that goal for a minimum length of time in hours and a minimum duration measured in weeks. So it's not possible to fast track the award. Great questions, everyone. Really good ones. And these are the questions that most people ask me in the emails. So I'm really happy that we can cover these in the video call.
Caroline, can I just ask you, you mentioned that you can go from bronze to gold, so
Yes.
skipping the silver award. 2 questions with that. Is that something that you would advise as a good option to do if you feel the person's actually excelling quite well with the bronze and can actually move to the gold? Would you personally look at advising that, or would you think it's better that they go through each step?
Great question. Overall, there are 2 requirements to any award. The first one is for the award that you start at has a minimum age requirement. So you have to be a minimum of 14 years old or in year 9 to start the bronze award. If you're starting at the silver award, you must be in your 15th year, so you need to be 15 years old to start silver, and you must be 16 years old to start at gold. If you were in the bronze award and wanted to skip to silver, you must be 16 years old to start at the gold level, because you're considered a direct entry again. But no matter where you start, once you've started, you can continue sequentially. So if you're 14 years old, let's say on your 14th birthday, you began the bronze award and you did everything for the minimum amount of time. You did every activity simultaneously. You can be finished the bronze award in 14 years, 6 months, and you can begin the silver award immediately. You cannot start the gold award because you're not 16, but you can start the silver award because your bronze award is completed. So at 14 years and 6 months, you start the silver award. Again, you do all your activities simultaneously. It'll only take you 6 months to do the silver award as a continua. And so you'll be 15 years old when you complete the silver award. And you can immediately continue on with the gold award at 15 years old because you did the silver. So depending on your age, you may find that it suits you better to just continue along each of the levels rather than stopping and waiting for another birthday. So that's one part. The next part then about recommendations to skip and start again, or whichever level you want to start at or continue to. It's very personal choice. Personally, from my personal end, I did the bronze level at school. I didn't do silver. I did the gold then as an adult a few years later. So I'm one of those people that skipped, and it worked really nicely for my circumstances. Some people will do all the levels because they like collecting awards, and that's a valid reason to do lots of awards. There are also some tertiary providers that will give different levels of extra points or extra consideration for one or more levels of the award. and that might play a part in the decision that you make on which levels to do and how to manage that progress. It's very independent and individual to the tertiary provider. I couldn't say they do this and every provider will give you these extra recognitions. It's every provider is very different in what they offer. Some people will be using awards as part of an early entry program. They might need to do a certain level of the award as part of those requirements. Because we're not a school, we're not really bound by any form of enrolment. It is very common to see school students who are doing the award with their school make decisions around what level of the award they are doing so that they can be completed all the possible levels of the award by the time they have reached the end of year 11 or halfway through year 12. But because we don't have that registration into a school where we're open through all ages up to the day before you're 25, we don't have that same sense of urgency. So it's very much what you want to gain out of the award and what you want to use the award for. Yeah, within the age bounds as well.
Thank you. That was really helpful. Thanks very much.
No problem. Okay, how do we prove that we have completed the necessary requirements for preparation and training? Have a look at the preparation and training list in your online record book. And if you've already done something within the last 12 months, then you can record that date. Remember, the very first date that you can record must be the first date of your registration in the online record book at the level that you're in. Very broadly speaking, most of the preparation and training that you're going to be doing will be around, I would expect, food management and just packing your bag, getting all the equipment ready. And annoyingly, some of the requirements of the preparation and training are not relevant to every single type of adventurous journey. And I can't untick them. So, for example, if you are doing a hike, and that's what you're doing, you're at bronze level and you're doing a hike, there's a tick box in the preparation and training around understanding the historical or cultural information about where you're going. And that's something that can be relevant, but may not have a very high relevance to where you're going. So we overall, I suppose we'll say, unfortunately, I'm going to say on camera that we might be a little bit lenient on some of the aspects. At the same time, though, if you've got some things that you have done and you would like to upload those into the online record book as proof, the online record book will allow you to do so. There's a section for additional training, and you can upload a little video, or you can upload a personal statement, a couple of sentences or a page of, oh yeah, I went to a orienteering day and learned how to use a map and compass because I didn't know how to. You can put that in. So there's a couple of ways that you can do it. Otherwise, you can always, if you've got something a bit unusual or it's lots of documents, you can always email them to me and I can filter them through. There's preparation and training, again, it's one of those parts of the award that are very personal, only because, again, some people will come with lots of experience and we don't need to ensure where you're up to, because we already know, especially if you've been with us at the bronze and silver award and now you're doing gold, we sort of know your history, or if you've got a recent history in an active scouts or cadets unit, so we know a little bit about where you're up to. It's usually we're a bit more when we don't know you yet, or if you're coming in at the bronze level. Again, we're more interested in getting you there on the first day, and then covering the training over the course of your practice journey. Okay, some people in my group can't find the email to sign up for the orb. Okay, so yeah, Tilly, let them know they have an email, and it is called Create Your Online Record Book Account. Everyone who has arranged to, so everyone who's paid Outward Bound for their award with your school, they have received that email. It has been sent to the participants' email where that was supplied, and it has been sent to the parents' email where that was supplied. So if they don't have it, please pass on my email, ask them to contact me directly. But everyone who has paid money has received that email. Is the practice journey organised with Duke of Ed, or do I need to find another organisation? No activity is organised directly through Duke of Ed. So Outward Bound Australia provide Adventurous Journeys, and we will be opening up more opportunities in the ACT and Victoria. We've got a lot going on in New South Wales, but we're opening up in other locations. And there are other organisations out there that do provide alternative dates, alternative modes, and that might suit you better, or different locations that might be of more interest to you. And if you don't want to hike, or if our dates don't suit you, please let me know. We're not exclusive. Of course, we'd love to see you on our adventurous journeys. It's our chance to really, meet you and work with you in person. But we've got some really good connections with other organisations that are doing cool things, like tall ships in Queensland and Tasmania, and environmental studies in Queensland and Victoria and New South Wales. And there's a couple of companies in New South Wales that we know of that do some really good canoeing trips as well. So if you want something that's not what we're doing, let me know so I can connect you. Yes, Jack.
Hi, Caroline. Just got a quick question just about the award ceremony. So I've recently finished all my hours. I'm just waiting for 2 assessors to sign me off, but then I'll have done the gold. I was planning on going back to Melbourne mid-year, and I just wanted to ask if you knew whether there's an award ceremony mid-year or when they run, because I was hoping it would coincide with my trip over.
Yep, great. Congratulations. And so Victoria, every state does a gold award ceremony towards the end of the year. Victoria is drafted in for the end of November, early December. That actually is when most of the states and territories run, end of November, beginning of December. I have seen a draft for, I think it is late mid-August in Victoria. But to be part of that one, you would certainly want to be completing and getting your assessors signed off really quickly so that we can get you on the list.
I see.
Gold award ceremonies, we don't have a say in those at Outward Bound. So that is something that you will be invited to a gold award ceremony by the state office where you're based. The only thing that we do get to have a say on your behalf is if you are in one state for your award. So, for example, you might be in New South Wales, but you would like to go to Government House in the ACT instead of going into Sydney, then that's something where you can let us know you'd rather do that, and we can then put in an application, which is typically accepted, for you to change your location.
Yeah, okay. No, that's fantastic. Yeah, because it's just I've relocated to Perth now, and I've done the award, and I'm still with Outward Bound Australia and Victoria, and so was going to go back then and do it, but so late November, early December is generally the period where they do it. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, and we can and if you're in Perth now, or will be in that time, then we can arrange for your gold certificate to be presented in WA.
Okay, fantastic. No worries. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Right, we officially have 0 minutes to go, according to my little catch. Is there anything else that has not yet been covered that's really pressing and you want to know the answer to? No problem. I'm going to take the silence as no, we're good, thank you. So I'm going to stop the recording.